to this random kitchen and my next guest's temporary home this week. I am Brittany Bass, a full-time passenger seat princess and operations manager of Matt Becker Fishing. If you don't know me yet, I'm also Matt Becker's girlfriend. He is a professional bass fisherman with Major League Fishing on the Bass Pro Tour, and he is why I am always in random kitchens and why this podcast got its name. So we are in our full swing of our second year on this tour, and with this channel podcast, I get to bring some of the best wives, fiancés, and girlfriends on, even some moms, to talk about their lives, their superstitions, because we got them too, and all the behind-the-scenes goodness that goes into making a tournament season successful. There's also some videos of like travel vlogs and different things behind the scenes that we do throughout the year as well on this channel. But this is episode 20 of Random Kitchens. Welcome back, everybody. So we are actually still in North Carolina, still at stage 5. Our next tournament, which is on the Chowan River, Chowan River, I think is what we're going with. And this episode will actually air after it is over. So go online and check out and see all the pictures, all the footage, see how it all shook out if you are interested. But today, I am very, very excited to introduce to you guys to this epic boss woman and hunting and fishing mama to 2 daughters, actually. So please let me introduce you this awesome wife of BPT professional angler Scott Suggs. This is Kim Suggs. So welcome to
Thank you.
Actually your kitchen. It's her kitchen today, in their temporary home this week. So I'm very, very pumped, as you guys know, about this whole podcast, mainly so you guys can meet them, but so I can meet them too. We actually met, I guess, for the first time this year.
Yes.
Yeah,
in Tulsa.
Yes, in Tulsa, which is awesome. Super exciting, and we met actually like shed hunting.
Yes.
To be on a crazy farm area, so that was really cool. But for people who don't know you, who are you? Where do you work? Where are you from?
Well, I obviously Kim Suggs, and I am from Alexander, Arkansas, so quite a ways from home this week, 15 and a half hours away.
Jeez.
And I actually work for a health insurance company. I've been there about 27 years, so a very long time.
Yes.
And they're in Little Rock, so that's pretty much me. I am the chief operating officer for our Little Rock location, so I'm the problem fixer.
Yes.
I'm always the problem fixer. So.
I love it. And very BA. It's awesome. I when we were talking, when we had met in Tulsa, I was like, there is no way. I was like, that is so cool. So very, very awesome that you're in charge of so much, but also have this
busy.
life.
It's
yeah,
busy.
I was about to say also have this life.
Pretty
and are
busy.
successful here too. So how many years have you and Scott been fishing on a national professional circuit?
This would be 20 years on the national circuit. Yeah. He's always fished,
right?
You know, but he started in 2004 on the Bassmaster series. So he that was the first year that he did like the big time.
The big time.
The big time.
And then pedal to the metal from then on.
Yeah, you know, I thought it would be a 1 year and done thing.
Yeah.
And so the first tournament, back then too, you didn't have all the technology. So you had to wait for them to call you to know how they did. And so it was in Florida. He'd never been to Florida. I'm like, he's going to be, this won't be good. I think he calls, he said, I think I'm in 5th. I'm like, oh, wow.
Because they didn't even publish it or anything until after, right?
Unless you were there at the weigh-in, you didn't know where they
that's
were.
wild.
And so he had a really good year, and I thought, he's never looking back.
I know.
Now.
He's
Here
never
we are, 20 years later. So
that's insane. That's awesome. So do you travel with him?
I have not traveled full-time with him. And honestly, up until COVID, I didn't travel at all. So while our kids were small and, that, I worked full-time, so I did not travel with him at all. Actually, COVID has allowed me to travel a little bit because now I can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I've been able to go on some of the events. And so it's been really nice. And
yeah.
I know he likes me to go, so I try to go to the ones that are like here, way away from home. So, you know, I can help drive and kind of make his life a little easier.
Which is good, especially this time. You basically drove the whole route, didn't you?
I drove the whole entire way.
Woo, 15 and a half hours.
Yeah.
That's a good woman.
Yeah. All the way.
No, so I love this perspective, mainly because while you guys see a lot of people who do travel full time, she does not, which is excellent because obviously she's maintaining her own career, their own entire family, everything they got going back home, and also keeping him in a situation where he can be focused on fishing. So there's so many ways to like do this life. While it is absolutely crazy all of the ways, I'm excited about this perspective. Okay, so you guys know I'm trying to keep this stuff consistent. So the first half is going to be more about love and life story. We're going to take a little break, and then we'll do tournament life and how they do it on the second half. So I am also adding in here a picture of Kim and Scott and their family so that you guys can see who we're talking about while we're talking about them. So picture will be right here over our faces. So kind of starting with you. What is something you do every day without fail?
I have every morning, I'm going to have my coffee. Got to have it.
Amazing.
Without fail, I got to start my day. Yeah. And that's probably the one thing I do every single day without
Are you
fail.
like a 1 cup or like a pot?
No, I'm a 2 cup kind of girl. And then I have to cut myself off.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I might be the whole pot.
I mean, so. I'm a whole pot.
I could be the whole pot, but I'm like, no, I need to cut myself off after 2 cups. So, yeah.
I love it. So, did you grow up loving the outdoors, or did that come later?
No, I grew up in the outdoors. I grew up a little country girl that followed my grandpa all around, and he was as country as you could get. Yeah. So, you know, I grew up fishing out of flat bottom boats with cane poles.
Oh, cane poles? Like sugar cane poles?
Like a piece of cane with line tied to the end of it.
Oh, and that's awesome.
And
you just yank the fish up?
We had a cabin, and when we would go home, you rolled the line around the cane pole and you put it under the cabin, and next time you came back, you got your pole out, and that's what you used. So I was very, very country growing up. And so when I met Scott, I'd never been in a bass boat or used a true, like, really rod and reel, so that was an experience. So
I bet. Did he have to teach you how to use it?
Or 100%. Yeah. 100%. I was the Zebco 33 girl.
With the push button?
With the push button.
Yes. Is that the one that broke down too?
Oh, yes, it did. And it was, let me just say, it doesn't handle not bass fishing lures really well. So after about 2 trips, he's like, okay, we got to ditch this. You've got to learn to use some real bass fishing equipment. So that's, it was an experience learning how to throw a bait caster.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. So what is something you do just for you?
Just for me, I get my nails done. I get maybe a facial, or I get a massage, and I do that once a month.
Oh.
And I have a little...
Do you just schedule it?
Yeah, I have a monthly package.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
You either get a facial or you get a massage, and so I just alternate.
Yeah.
And I pre-schedule every time because I won't go if I don't.
Yeah, it has to be on the calendar.
Yeah,
no, I like that.
So that's something I started about a year and a half ago, and it's been nice to do that. Just one thing for myself.
Yeah, no, it's carved out time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like facials. I had only had, I think, like 1 in my life until maybe a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think since I've had like 3. But I like them a lot. Yeah. Like, they're very nice.
Let me tell you, the older you get, you start seeing wrinkles, you start doing things like that.
Yeah. Well, at least they have cool things like that. It's like pamper.
Yes.
So, do you remember what your life, like what you envisioned your life being like when you were a kid? And did it look like it does now?
Oh, I don't.
I know it's a hard question.
It's a hard question, and I can 100% answer no.
Yes.
You would have never predicted
this
life,
No.
I always thought I would be, when you're a kid, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a vet or something like that. So that was what I always thought growing up I would do. And, of course, life takes a different trail, and you end up doing different things. So,
yeah. No, would you pick, or like knowing what you know now, would you pick a different career?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I enjoy what I do. Now, I'm always looking to fix a problem. I mean, I'm a process improvement. That's what I'm looking for, to do. And I think it fits me well. I'm a very much multitasker. I can do like 10 things at one time and come back, and that's my only talent, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't sing, I don't dance, I don't do any of that. My only talent is I can multitask pretty well.
I love it. That's a great talent.
That's the only talent.
There's plenty of people that need that talent. So.
Well, let me tell you, the life we live, you need to be able to multitask. So.
Yes, 100%. It is wild. And doing that, I can't get over that you have been helping him this whole entire time, and also being very, very successful in your own career.
Yep, it's been it's gone by quickly. I will tell you that. It goes by very fast, and so, but it's just what you do, right? And so I have a lot of my friends will be like, "Oh, I can't believe your husband's gone all the time, and how do you do this?" And I'm like, "You just do it.
Yeah,
it's just the life you've built for yourself, and you just do it.
Yeah,
it's not hard for me.
Cherish the good times, go through the bad, but cherish the good.
We just learn, and we have really good support with our family, so it's nice that his parents and my parents, we live close, and so they've helped us a lot.
A good little village.
Yeah.
I love a village. I love a good village.
Well, you need a good village.
Yes.
You need a good village.
So how did you and Scott meet?
Well, we met through one of my good friends. Actually dated Scott for a little while, and then that didn't work out, and so we tend to have more in common with our
your friend dated him.
Yes, my friend dated him, and so that didn't work out, but we did. So that's kind of the story, and kind of
that's awesome.
Yeah, and so one thing led to another, and then we started dating, and here we are.
So is he like a big sappy romantic guy?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Are you?
No. That's probably why we go well together.
Yeah.
Yes, no. We are not the big sappy romantic kind of folks. We just aren't.
Yeah. No. I think it's good as long as it's a mutual understanding.
I mean, Scott's idea of romance is going to be, let's go fishing tonight.
Yes.
That's his
let's go fishing under the moonlight.
Oh yes, that would be his idea.
I like it. So, do you remember who said "I love you" first?
Probably him.
Yeah,
I think he probably did.
Did he ask you out, or did you ask him out?
Well, I think it was kind of mutual. We just kind of agreed to, hey, let's go to dinner, and then we just kept going to dinner after that. Yeah. So,
nice.
So I think it was more of a mutual thing.
Yeah. And so, how many years did y'all date before you got married? And then how many have y'all been together married?
We dated probably about 2.5 years before we got married. And
that's not bad. Go ahead, Scott.
We just had our 33-year anniversary on May the 21st. So 33 years.
Oh, can you believe it?
No. It's gone by very quickly, too. Very quickly.
That's insane. So what is something, and this is not in here, so I'm sorry, but what is something in y'all's marriage that you think has made it last this long? Do you guys do anything?
Trust.
Yeah.
I would say trust, because in my career, I'm gone a lot. I traveled a lot, especially before COVID. I traveled a lot. Obviously, he's traveled a lot. And, in that kind of a relationship, you better trust your spouse, because you're not together a lot of the time. And so I think that's probably been one of the biggest keys, is we just never have doubted each other.
Yeah.
And it's been a good 33 years.
Yeah.
So,
that's insane. That's awesome. So did you guys have a big or little wedding?
Oh, probably medium.
Yeah?
I go medium.
Are you a medium at 250? Because Bobby said, Bobby was like, I think medium, but it was 250.
I think 100. Okay. I bet ours was probably 100. The most unique thing about our wedding is we had to have it on a Thursday night, because we couldn't fit it around the fishing tournament. So our wedding was on a Thursday night. So very non-traditional, but it was a very traditional wedding, just on a Thursday.
That's awesome that you got that many people on a Thursday.
Yes, we did.
So did he have a tournament start on Friday?
I think it was on Saturday.
Yeah, but obviously it had to be recovered. You can recover a day.
Yeah, and then we went to the lake for our honeymoon.
Oh.
Yeah, real romantic.
Yeah. Wait, if you like it, you like it.
Yeah. He'll tell everyone that I caught like 2 5-pounders on our honeymoon.
Did
so
you?
It was great. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I really did. And we did have a good time.
Yeah. No, which lake?
Lake Ouachita.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's where y'all got married?
It's we got married about an hour from there.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we didn't really do any big away honeymoon or
No.
anything. We were, trying to fit a wedding in the middle of a bunch of tournaments and
Yeah.
stuff. So.
Which is awesome and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, while fishing is like such a large part of their lives because it's his job, but also he loves it. I know hunting is also big in y'all's family. So do you go both fishing and hunting with him? I know he was always excited to hunt with the girls, but I didn't know if you did that too.
Not in the same capacity.
Yeah.
Our oldest daughter, she's the avid hunter. She loves to go. She will go hunting with her dad over almost anything.
Yeah.
She'd ditch a boyfriend to go hunting with her dad. I've even had, big trips with my younger daughter, and she'd say, "Oh, I don't want to go. I would rather just go hunting."
Oh,
Dad."
dang.
And so my younger daughter, she hunts a little bit, but once she kills something, she's done.
Yeah.
She's done. And Scott's always begged me to go,
Yeah.
and I'm just not a huge hunter.
Yeah.
But I've been a few times, and I will say I've killed a deer. So
Very nice.
I shot one time, killed the deer. I'm like, I'm good.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So I'm much more the fisherman.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I go a lot. I would much rather go fishing
And
than hunting.
for bass, or do you guys fish for other things?
We fish for other things too. A lot of crappie.
He's a crappie guy. Yeah,
he
crappie
likes fishing for crappie. We'll fish for walleye some.
Okay.
But I would still say the majority of the time we fish for bass. So.
Nice. And you still love it.
Oh yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
I like that. So, what is your craziest or most fun or scariest memory? Because I asked most fun, and she was like, "Well, let me give you like a least fun, but it's like the craziest." So, if you have one of those too.
Well, I guess one of the things that comes to mind is I had flown up to Vermont because Scott had an MLF event up there, and then he was going to fish another tournament a couple weeks, maybe a week and a half later. So he had a little time in between.
Yeah.
So I fly up here and we can fish on Champlain.
Oh yeah.
So I'd never been, so I'd been there but not fishing.
Yeah.
And so, I hear all about the wonderful fishing.
Yeah.
So we go and, I'm pumped up to catch this big smallmouth.
Yes.
So I get one on and I'm all excited. I'm like, this is the big one. And I hear Scott say, I have one too.
Oh no.
Then I hear, oh my gosh, I got a hook in my hand. And I'm still fighting my monster fish, And I'm like, but I've got a big one.
Yeah.
And he's like, get it off. You got to come help, this hook. And I'm like, but I need a picture. He's like, you'll get another one. Throw it back. So, sure enough, he's got a treble hook.
Oh no.
Not just once in his palm, but it went in, came out, and went in again.
Oh.
And so I'm like, we need to go to the ER. He's like, oh, we don't have time for that. You can jerk it out. And I'm like, I don't know about this. And, they do the line trick.
The line trick.
Mm-hmm.
That only works sometimes. Like, it works kind of, but
Mm-hmm.
not with a treble hook, generally speaking.
So he rigs it up.
Oh, dear God.
Yep. And we got the fish off that got it into his hand. And he took the treble hook off the lure. So all he had now is this treble hook in his hand. So he takes this line and gets the trick, and he's like, okay, wrap it around your hand like 5 times. Like it can't slip. You got to hold it tight. And he said, I'm going to look away so I don't know when you're going to do it.
Oh, dear God.
And he said, whatever you do, don't like sort of do it.
Yeah,
you got to
do it.
Commit to it.
Oh,
right?
dear God.
And he's like, you got to pull straight back. He has this on. If anybody had a video, because he didn't see me, I was back there like talking myself silently into this. I'm like, you can do it. And so, I counted in my head to 3, and I did jerk it with all I had, and it came right out.
Did it? Oh, good. Oh, my God. I thought you were about to say it, didn't. It went in you. I'm like, oh, my God.
That would be worse.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, we're good to go back.
Oh, thank God.
I'm like, oh, my goodness. I can't believe I just
I know, you make my stomach
hook
hurt.
removal out here. And I didn't get a picture
And you
of my
didn't get your fish. Did you get another one?
I actually ended up catching like a 5-pound largemouth.
Oh,
up
what?
there. But I'm
Okay.
like,
Yeah, you wanted a small.
I wanted a smallmouth. But we caught a lot. I just didn't catch one bigger than I had on in my mind anyway.
You should have definitely made him wait. I mean, the hook wasn't going anywhere.
I know, that's what I was thinking. So, he didn't want to go to the ER. He could wait 5 minutes and then get a picture.
I love it. So, let's do non-fishing story.
Ooh.
I know. That one's harder.
That is harder. So, at our house, we might as well be a reality TV show because there's something happening crazy at my house all the time. And so I told you we grew up very country.
Yeah.
So Scott would always tell me that when he was younger, could catch a possum by the tail.
Oh dear.
Oh yes. So I'm always like, whatever, So one night me and the girls were sitting in the living room, and I can see him come home. He's pulling the boat, and I see it go in front of the house. And so in a minute, he's ringing the front doorbell. And I'm like, what is he doing? Why is he ringing the doorbell? So I open the door, and he is standing there. Apparently, there was possum in our flower bed, and he had leaped down, and he caught it. And he's standing there with it. By the tail. And he's holding it, and he's like, see, I told you I could catch a possum. And about that time, he looks down, and it's kind of like growling. He lets go, runs straight in our house.
Oh, no.
Straight in the house.
How'd you get that out?
Oh, the girls and I screamed, ran to the bedroom, and I'm like, get that out of this house.
Go catch it again
like,
by the tail.
Yes. I'm like, we're the only house in the neighborhood that's had a possum running through it because you let it in here. So, yeah, that's probably the craziest story.
That's awesome.
Yes, I'm like, really?
They are kind of cute, though. I know that people don't like them, but they're actually, they can't have rabies. Did you know that?
Yes.
Because their body temperature is...
Yeah, they're not as bad as people.
No.
Because they're a little scary looking.
They are scary. And they hiss and they spit, and so that's scary. But
I kind of peeked out, and I see him. He's running through our living room right behind. It's like he's right behind it as he shoos it on back out the door. I'm like, do not do that again.
No more marsupials.
No, we don't need animals in our house. But, yeah.
I love it. What do you think is the best part about, like, loving a tournament angler? Especially because, and we'll get into this a little bit, but he started nationally fishing after you guys were set up. Right.
Well, I think one of the best things has been the places we've gotten to go. Like, those are places we wouldn't have gone if he wasn't a tournament fisherman, right? We go to here.
Yeah, like, Edenton.
I would never come to Edenton.
And it's the cutest little town.
Oh, it's absolutely
but it's like
the cutest
this
little
side
town.
of the Outer Banks, so people don't even think about like the inner banks.
Well, and I think when people travel, a lot of times you go to the cities you know or the cities you hear about, not these smaller towns, and that's been the best part to me. I love going to smaller towns and exploring what the small area has to offer, and so I think that's the best. And my kids have gotten to go on a lot of trips and places that they would have most likely not have gone either. So that's been the fun part for us, is just meeting new people, seeing new places, and just exploring. So.
And what do you think is like the hardest part or the most challenging? I also love your bowl of Buc-ee's snacks. Sorry,
snacks,
I just noticed all the Buc-ee's snacks.
We can thank Mark Rose for the Buc-ee's
snacks.
That's
awesome.
I think he stopped and picked all those up on his way over here. Yeah.
Sorry, random tangent, but I just saw all of them.
We were like, which Buc-ee's did you stop at?
I know.
But,
so what's the hardest part? Or I guess most challenging, because there's different stuff. You don't have to have one either.
I don't know. It was harder when my kids were smaller, especially if I had to travel for work. Again, it takes a village. So my parents and his parents lived close to us, and they would always take our girls. Yeah. So we had that support. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been able to have the career that I had, or he. One of us would have had to give a little bit. But our parents have been great, and so that's probably the hardest part, was just that coordination. A lot of times,
all that scheduling.
All that scheduling. And
it's wild. It is wild.
They're older now, so it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, they can kind of do their own thing, which we'll get into them and kind of like their stuff too, because I'm super excited, especially I think it's your youngest that has the little boutique and stuff too. Okay, so we'll get into that, but just one more question, just couples wise. What do you guys do as like date nights or quality time things? Like, how do you get that when he is on the road so much and you're home? Do you wait until he gets there, or do y'all do like you know, something that you've just always done to help with that. And I'm asking to for like us, because while we're on the road together, the quality time part is hard while we're on the road because it's like work week.
Sure.
So if you have any like good advice there.
A lot of times when I've traveled, sometimes we'll do something after the tournament, or maybe even before.
Yeah.
You know, we'll find something that's, you know, kind of fun, close, or someone we know. That's one of the best things too about being a tournament angler is we know someone everywhere, right?
You've been
every state. We know someone, and a lot of times, you know, your friends are saying, "Hey, you know, come down and go do this, or we'll go do that." And a lot of times it's fishing. It might be a different kind of fishing. We've been flounder fishing, red fishing, you name it. But it's always fun because you know it's different. The other thing is we have a place over at Lake Ouachita. We have we have a place we've had over there for about 10 years, and so we like to just go there. And it just kind of, he can go out and fish if he wants, or I'll work from there sometimes. But it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's on the water, and so we enjoy doing that.
And just like a staycation almost.
It is, because it gets, I'm a busy bee, so if I'm at home, I'm doing something. There's always something, right? There's laundry. There's something to be cleaned. And he's always saying, "Can you just sit down?" And and I really can't. But over at the lake, I can, because there's just not as much stuff to do.
Right.
So it's
more
relaxing.
Peaceful. Even if you bring work.
Even if I bring work, it's more peaceful.
Is that like y'all's date night kind of too? Y'all take that as well?
Yeah, that's probably Or we'll go out for a nice dinner somewhere. You know, we enjoy. Going out to dinner.
All good food.
Yeah, we do. We enjoy good food. So.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle.
I freaking love it. Cheese, bread, good wine. Like, oh.
Yes. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And then clothes. Okay, so now I kind of want to dive into family stuff. So give me the rundown of how your family is, or your family makeup. So your daughters, do you have any pets? And then where is everybody at? Do you have other animals? You know, any of that?
Sure. Well, we have two dogs. That's the extent of the pets.
Yes.
One of them is my dog. The other one I have now got apparently adopted from my daughter.
Did you?
It was coming for a small stay, and it's extended its stay.
So what are their names?
Yeah. Trixie
is yours.
Is mine, and Charlie is my daughter's.
Aww.
But
Trixie's a little dog, isn't she?
She is. She's a little Shih Tzu poodle, so she's about 10 pounds. And then Charlie, he was supposed to be a miniature Boston, but he weighs 35 pounds, so there's nothing miniature. There's nothing miniature about him. And he is very rambunctious, would be the word.
Do they get along?
They tolerate.
Yeah, isn't Trixie older?
Yeah, she's about 12 years old, and Charlie's 8, 9 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a little older, but so we have 2 daughters. My oldest daughter is married and has our only grandchild, who's about to be a year old, a little girl named Sadie. And so when Sadie was born, the dog was too rambunctious, and she was so fragile, and so maybe she needed to stay with us for a few weeks. Well. Sadie's going to be a year old on the 12th, so
stayed with you for a year.
I'm pretty sure he's long term. He's a long term stay now. But and then our other daughter, she just turned 21, and so she is the one that has the little boutique.
Yeah.
And so she just crossed over her year mark of opening her store, so that's been really exciting.
And what is her boutique called?
It is Hallie and Company, and you can guess her name.
Yeah, Hallie.
Yes.
So it's Hallie, and your oldest is?
Whitney.
Whitney, okay. Mm-hmm. And is Hallie's boutique online?
It is online. It is HallieandCompany.com. We'll give a plug.
Yes.
And she started online because we wanted to just learn the basics, learn how to go to market, learn how to basically be a boutique owner.
Yeah.
And so in December, she actually opened her own storefront, and that's gone really well, and she's actually moving into a larger storefront.
That's super
hopefully
exciting.
The 1st of July. They're waiting on it to get completed. But, and it's in the same area. It's just going to double her size. So she's done really well.
That's huge. That's awesome. And what does your older daughter do?
Well, she is a surgical tech for a group of ENTs. So she does a lot of ears and noses and sinus kind of surgeries and stuff like that.
That's
and
awesome.
So she's in the surgery center.
And they both love it?
Yeah, they do. Whitney started pulling back just a little bit, trying to go more part-time so she can spend more time at home with Sadie.
Perfect.
So it's working out.
Yeah, and she's one. How does Scott like having a grandchild? Wait,
what
are y'all's grandpa names?
Oh, well, he said you can't call him Grandpa. He's got to be called Scotty.
Scotty?
Yeah, but he kind of gets called Pops a lot. Papa, Pops.
Papa Scotty.
And then I had said you can call me Kimmy.
Oh.
But the kids will say Grandma Kimmy. And because my kids have always called me Kimmy, like to their friends. So when they had friends over or boyfriends, they would say, "This is our mom. You can call her Kimmy." Yeah. And so
they needed like
so they needed to throw Grandma in there. So yeah, I'm like
you could be like Lolly.
Yeah.
Mom likes Lolly and Pops.
Yeah, Lolly and Pops. And we'll see what Sadie calls us.
Yeah.
So she may come up with her own.
Her own little. You'll be a Gigi.
Yeah. She just barely started saying a few things. She's Mama and Dada and Bye Bye, and she's close to walking. She can take a couple steps, but she can crawl like
everywhere.
If we had a baby crawling contest, this kid's winning. I mean, she is fast.
See, that's why she's not walking. She's got a perfect mode of transportation.
She does. She can sail across the floor. Like, if there's something she wants, she's after it.
I love it. Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's super exciting. So do they live close to you guys as well?
They're about 20 minutes.
Okay,
from us,
that's
so we
not
see
too
them
bad.
a lot.
Yeah, that's perfect. You just extended your village
Yeah.
by a Sadie.
Yes.
Well, I guess and a husband.
Yes.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about like the progression of this life and y'all's careers. So I know you said obviously you have been together 33, but he's been fishing technically 20?
Yes, he fished regionally
before.
Lot. Yeah, and when we started dating, he was fishing just local, not tournaments. He would fish 2 or 3 nights a week, and sometimes come home at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, because he was fishing a lot of those.
Yeah,
and then some weekend local stuff, and then he kind of progressed up to more regional, kind of like the Opens are today.
Yeah,
and the different
Toyota
ones,
series.
The Toyota series, those kind of things, and then. From there, he got an opportunity to fish at the higher level when Hallie was literally a year old.
So what was he doing for like work before that?
Well, he's a master electrician.
So I didn't know that.
Yep, and so he had his own business, and so it worked out well because he could. He mainly did new residential.
Yeah,
and so he could schedule that around being gone for tournaments and stuff, and he did that even when he went to the highest level. Mm-hmm. He continued to do his electrical stuff for probably the first 2 years or so, and then once he got to a point where he could stand on his own fishing, the tool belt got put away. Yes, and I would always
never seen again.
Oh yeah, the guys I work with would always laugh because anytime Scott wouldn't do well in the tournament, I'm like, do I need to get the tool belt back out? Because you might need to strap this back on. Yes. So it was always the joke of, I'm going to bring that tool belt back out.
So when you guys first met, was he y'all's ages? Like, were you working at the health insurance company, and then was he was an electrician at that point?
Right. He was not a master. He was working for an electrical company.
Okay.
So you've got
learning.
Like you've got to work. Yes, and at that time you could spend, if you had enough years in, you could become a master just from your time.
Okay.
And so he was working for a commercial electrical company when we first started dating, and then I was still in college, and so so then I finished up college and I went to work. My degree's in accounting, so I went to work for a public accounting firm.
Gotcha.
And so I did that a couple of years before I actually left the accounting and went to work for a different health insurance company, and stayed there a couple of years, and then came to the one I work at today. So I've been there now 27 years. So.
Dang, and they've seen you guys all the way through then too.
Yes. Oh yes. If you work with me, around me, for me, you become a fisher. You become knowledgeable about fishing.
You are.
Yes.
You are in the fishing fam. You know what's going on.
Oh yeah, you're 100% in the fishing fam, and if it is the end of the day and there's some cameras in the boat, we're probably stopping what we're doing. We're going to watch the last 15 minutes of this. Yes, and everybody's watching. So
I love it.
Everybody's all in too.
Yeah, you got to bring them in.
Oh yeah, and they it's fun. They also learned something they would have probably never known about had they not worked with me. So.
No, it's good. You're extending the reach.
Yes.
No, it's good. So I always ask a question of every guest. What is their question for our next guest without knowing who it is? So Bobby Chapman, and kind of going along with like your careers and how this has worked. So whether, obviously, her question was whether you travel full time or stayed at home or anywhere in between. Have you gotten what you wanted out of life, or would you have done it differently knowing what you know now?
You know, I think
she was like, "This is so philosophical." Yeah. Philosophical. I was like, "No, it's good. It's good."
No, we love the life that we've had, and it's been a great life. I think we've learned a lot along the way, but I think that's just natural. Yeah, you know, you're gonna learn. Starting out, you don't really know a lot, but you learn and you live and you learn, right? Just even things we talked about earlier around what kind of house to rent, and making sure that you ask the right questions, that there's enough boat parking and it's safe, and you know there's
clean.
It's clean, and you know with us I always say, you know, safety of the boat is number one priority, right? Because if you can't go to bed at night feeling that your stuff is safe out in the front yard, you're not going to rest. That's a problem. It's a problem. You're not going to rest well and that kind of thing. And so we've really learned a lot along the way about, you know, what kind of places to look for, and a lot of repeats too. Now we know exactly, even hotels as we're traveling. Oh, we want to get to here because there's a great hotel, and
we like their breakfast.
Yeah, they got a big parking lot. It's well lit. You know, it's in a safe area, and so that, you know, we've learned. But I don't, you know, I wouldn't probably do anything different. Yeah, I think it's been. You know, if I could have traveled a little bit more, I really have enjoyed being able to travel and go with Scott. I don't know that I would have been a great full-time travel with the kids, because my kids, I could not have homeschooled them. They wouldn't listen to me, I promise. But and I probably wouldn't be patient enough either. Yeah. But so that part, you know, I probably wouldn't have done that. But to be able to go a couple tournaments a year, I would have probably done that more had I been able to. Yeah. But, you know, I just didn't do that when I was, you know, couldn't work from home, because I didn't want to spend my vacation time. I wanted us to be able to do true vacation.
Actual vacation. Yeah, you actually take a break. Yeah.
Right, and us go on a family vacation. Yeah. So if I spent my vacation time traveling with him, then we wouldn't have gotten to do some of our family vacations. Yeah. So.
Well, and I do feel like, I mean, while people struggled with COVID, there was like a huge blessing in that it showed people you could work remote and be successful, like have the same success. And I think it kind of opened up a lot, like for you to be able to travel and work. While obviously it's probably more difficult than being there, but at least it opened up the opportunity. Because I mean, I know even before COVID, like with my career that I had before, like it actually didn't even seem possible that it could have gone remote, because it's so people facing. Right. So COVID kind of, and you know, teams and all of that, like allowed for this like crazy life to evolve. So
I 100% agree. Yeah. I said, you know, for me, COVID was a bit of a blessing.
It was for us
in that way. Yeah. Because I've been able to do a lot more, and it really did probably improve my work-life balance. Yeah. You know, I would tend to be more work. But now, if I can work from home, I'm not spending that 45 minutes in the morning traveling. I'm not spending that 45 minutes in the afternoon coming home. So that's an extra hour and a half in my day. That's a lot of time.
It is a lot
of
time.
And that you can't get back. And the amount of time that I spent over the years, you know, each way. Yeah. And it's stressful. The drive is stressful. It's, you know, stop and go and red lights and, you know, people slamming on brakes, and now I don't have that. It's nice. So.
And if you need something done, like you can quickly just do it, so it's off of your plate kind of deal. Yeah. Versus, you know, having to wait until you went in the next day, but just like constantly thinking about it too.
Right. So and you get stuff. I can get stuff done. Again, I'm very much a multitasker. Yeah. So, you know, it's easy for me to throw a load of laundry in. Yeah. You know, in the middle of the day, or throw dinner on at 5 o'clock, and I might still be working. Yeah. But I can kind of do
your things, stuff too.
Yeah. As making sure the laundry's done, or I can be on a call and I can fold the laundry.
Yeah.
And still mindlessly fold the laundry.
Yes.
And still be on call.
Presently be on call.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's good. I like that. I was like trying to think, like if I would do it, and kind of same with you, like when we were talking about, is this the life that you pictured as a kid? And I feel like the aspects that I wanted when I was a kid, I have all of those, but could I have ever freaking imagined this life? No. And I feel like kids are just like automatic, like you said, doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. Like those were the options, not like.
No, you don't ever know. And I mean, even in my own career, I have an accounting degree and thought I would just be an accountant forever. Yeah. And I don't even do that anymore. What I do
There's so much opportunity in the world.
It's helpful
crazy.
with my job today, but it's not what I do. I don't do accounting work anymore. But it's led me, and I tell a lot of people that, is they're like, how did you get to where you're at? And I said, I just followed the path.
Yeah.
I let my career, I followed it. I didn't try to say, oh, I'm going to do this forever because I got an accounting degree. It's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
As opportunities presented themselves, I
looked into them and went.
Yes, and I'm always up to learn something new and always think I can do anything.
Yeah.
I'm one of those that I'm like, oh, you need me to
How
do
hard can that be?
Yeah. You need me to, I watched an open heart surgery one time. I could probably do that now. Jokingly, of course. But, I've never said I couldn't do it. And so just go for it. So, and kind of even the same thing with fishing, the same thing with being a fisherman's wife. Oh, I need to learn to back a boat. Okay. Yeah. I'll figure this out. So might take me a few times, but I can do it.
Yes.
So
yeah, you'll get there. Yeah. So there's a lot of new moms in the industry, and obviously, there's so many options because of this life. How or what advice would you give them, especially ones that right now are trying to like kind of choose between, like, should they come on the road? Should they not? Like, I mean, that's a huge decision. And we were talking earlier to some other wives, and I think, like, if you traveled full-time with an RV, it would make sense that they could, like, the ease of homeschool would be so much easier. But, like, leaving a career and doing that, like, that's, like, a very daunting thing. So I don't necessarily think, I mean, I think, obviously, any way works. For me, like, I'd be loading everybody up because this is our life, this is how it started. But for you guys started in a totally different place.
That's right.
And then came into it. So what is your advice for, like, other ladies in the same thing that are kind of feeling, like, mixed? Yeah, like, mixed in there.
Again, I think you just got to follow, let it tell you what you want to do, right? Like, you got to go see. And if it's the life for you, then that's the life, I don't think that would have been the life for us, only because, like I said, I don't think I would have been great at homeschooling for one, and then I also think we might have been together just too much.
Right.
There's some positives in some
having
time
the
apart.
time. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And so if we were just together nonstop, and then you've got your kids, and I feel like for me, that wouldn't have worked. But there's other people. Yeah. It works great. And because they are very good at homeschooling, and everything is worked out, and they love that, kind of remote life. You're moving around, but it might not be for everyone.
Right.
But I think you just got to ask yourself, is it for me?
Yeah.
Right? And you can try it. It doesn't mean that you can't do something different if it doesn't work out. Or when your kids get older and they want to go to school, you got to make those decisions. But I still think you can make that work. It's just really what's best for you, and you have to say, don't let other people tell you what's
gonna
good
work
for you. Yeah. You've got to make that decision for yourself, and then sometimes you just got to try it.
Yeah. No, I like that. The trial and error. I'm a huge trial and error fan.
You got to try it and not be afraid to say this is not working.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have to go next year.
But I feel like that would be the hard part, is like like trying it not working and being afraid that it doesn't work, you know, or afraid that it would, or, you know, kind of that, like, that would be scary to me. I mean, heck, it was scary to me. I freaking did it. Not with kids. That would be very, very, very scary. Yes. But, like, fully, like, committing and trusting, like, it is very, I mean, you just jump right off that deep end.
And there is a village.
Yeah.
You know, there are other wives that travel with their kids, and so I think that, you know, they
find support. You can find support. Yeah,
yes, you can find support, and I think that is important.
Yeah.
If I were going to be the, you know, traveling mom, I would want support from other moms doing the same thing, because I need a little bit of that kind of, you know, reassurance and support that, you know, I'm not crazy and, you know, because I'm thinking of different things, or I just need a little bit of adult interaction perhaps. But I think there's a lot of support from other wives and kids and things out.
Yeah, if you want to jump in. Yeah. No, I agree. At least from what I've heard. I know that there used to be like a whole crazy village, which is awesome. And I think now, like, we'll have one kind of again, but there was like a break in who was having kids.
Yeah,
if that makes
I think
sense.
You're right. I mean, I think that maybe 10 years ago there was more, and now it seems like there's a lot of young couples that don't maybe have kids yet.
Right. Yeah, or aren't, you know, like us,
or they're not traveling together.
Or they're not traveling together and they're staying home with their kids too. Because actually there is a lot of those too, which is super exciting. But also, like, kind of why I wanted to ask all of this of you, because I know you had to make the decision. Because so when he started, y'all, just to clarify real quick, y'all had kids already.
We did.
Or they weren't here yet.
We did. When he started professionally fishing, we were in a good place. Scott has always been he wanted to make sure his family came first. Yeah. And he said, also, I'm going to fish comfortably. I'm not going to sleep in my truck. I'm not going to worry that I've spent the money and my kids can't have a good dinner. Yeah. Or buy the clothes they need, or that kind of thing. And so my career has always been, I've always been the one to say, I'll pay all the bills. I mean, if you don't catch a fish, we're not hurt. Yeah. Right? Now, we want you to. Yeah. And what you catch is great, but because I've had a career, he's been able to fish with a lot.
Comfortably.
Yes, comfortably, and never had to worry about, you know, us not being able to pay our bills or buy the things we need for our kids. And he was older. Yeah. Right? Because, I mean, when he started
how old
fishing,
was he?
He was probably, 20 years ago, 38.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just turned 58. So, yeah. And so I'm about 3 years younger. So, I mean, at that time, we were, you know, pretty well
off.
Yeah. In our lives.
Or in your careers. You were settled.
Right. We
were
settled.
Like you had built it. It was settled.
Yes. We had, you know, built a house.
That
and so
nice.
we weren't just starting from, right. We were kind of at a middle place in our lives, and we were at a good place. And when he had kind of qualified to go on the tour, I knew he needed to. Yeah. Because he would always wish he had tried.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things that if you turn it down, you question everything.
Yeah, and I knew that he, you know, in his mind, he always wondered, could I do it? Yeah. And if I'd have said, oh, no, you're not doing that, you know, that would have just been bad of me not to let him try and to see how that goes. And now you see where we're at. Yeah. It's been very successful for him. So, and I always had confidence in him. I mean, I used to joke, he can catch a fish out of a mud hole. And I swear, we've been to mud holes and he's caught fish out there. But, because even, you know, I'm sure my mom was probably like, you're gonna do what? You know, now that I look back and I'm a mom and I'm kind of
I know if your daughter came and said
what? But it's worked out very well.
So last question, we're gonna take a little bit of a break. If we had a wives and girlfriends fishing tournament, so WAGS fishing tournament, which wife or girlfriend do you think would win?
Well, I put myself in the mix, but outside of me.
Now that I hear how much you fish, I'm putting you in the mix too.
I've even fished a few tournaments as co-angler. That was experience. Yeah. But I don't know. I think Robin Howe would do very, very well.
I have heard that she's a stick.
She, I've seen a lot of pictures where she goes. I think she would be tough to beat, to be honest. I think she's really good.
I'm really going to work at trying to make this happen at Red Crest in the future. I really think it would be so fun because everyone comes together at Red Crest.
How about a couples tournament?
Yeah, that's what Kristen was saying.
We used to fish couples.
Kristen's sitting over here.
We fished a lot of couples tournaments.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
In our earlier life.
Because I can catch a bass. I can't find a bass. I can catch a bass.
Oh, I can't say I could find one. Yeah. But I could catch one if you put me in there. Yeah. I've had a pretty good teacher, so.
Yeah, I know. And lots of years. So.
Yes, lots of years.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and kind of dive into the tournament side of things. So, we'll be back. We are back. So, let's dive into the tournament world. And kind of what that looks like through y'all's lens. So starting from the beginning here too, and you kind of went through it, but just how did Scott become a professional? You said he got invited. Mm-hmm. How did that work?
He had qualified through a lower regional series, and then got invited to fish the Bassmaster, what's now the Elites. So he got an invitation to fish
is that
those.
when they were doing the hundreds or the 50s?
Yes, and they had the invitationals. So you fished the invitationals, and if you did well enough, then you would get an invite to fish at that higher level. So he had qualified and gotten an invite to
That's
fish.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And obviously he was fishing, but not professionally when you guys first met. So did he always know, he actually wanted to be a professional, or he always knew he just wanted to fish?
Probably he always knew he wanted to fish.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the case with most of these professional fishermen. They, as little kids, that's what they lived for.
Yeah.
And his mom will tell a story about there was a pond down the street, and he just wanted to go fishing it all the time. And so she's like, I didn't want to be down there all the time, so I would make him wear a life jacket and he would ride his bicycle down there. And as a little kid, 5 and 6 years old, and I said, well, how did you know he didn't take the life jacket off? And she said, oh, there was a little lady that lived down there, and if he took it off, she'd have told me. So, that was, he was doing that when he was little.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's because his dad and his grandpa fished, and they took him, but he had a love for bass fishing, and they never bass fished. They crappie fished or brim fished, they didn't bass fish. But Scott always liked the challenge, I think, of figuring out how
and they're smart.
to catch a bass.
Yeah.
And so as he got older, he started fishing, I think when he was about 14, he started fishing with older guys that had a boat, because he didn't have
a boat.
Nope.
But he
actually ran the front. And so he was just really good at catching bass, and it's just a knack. He just had this knack about him, and he just kind of knew. And when we started dating, this was back before the technology today.
Yeah,
technology today is
wild.
Oh yeah,
it's wild.
It's you can video fish on this, but back in those days,
I wish it was that easy.
He had what we called a flasher.
Oh yeah,
and it was
we fished with flashers on ice.
Yeah, it was just basically to tell how deep the water was for the most part. And we would go at night fishing, and he could pull up on a spot in the middle of a lake because he'd line up the shadows of the mountains and the islands, and he knew exactly how to line them up to get to his spot.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
I like those little flashers. You can see the fish and your bait on those too. But obviously,
you know what you're looking for.
It's like a speed dial. So
it's just flashing, flashing, and whenever the grass level, he could tell where the grass was and stuff.
Yeah, those are cool. I like those a lot.
So it's come a long way.
Yes,
it's come a long way.
Definitely. So, what do you think Scott would say was his favorite moment or biggest career high point? And they can be different.
Yeah. Well, I think there's probably a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
He, before he got the invite to fish at the highest level, he had a couple of years where he just didn't feel like he was doing as well as he wanted to.
Yeah, in the groove.
Yeah, and the last tournament was that he fished in that kind of open series was on Sam Rayburn, and I think in his mind he had said, if I don't do good in this tournament, then I'm just quitting fishing. I'm gonna just go back to my electrical business, right? And he actually finished third, won a boat. It was and got that invite to go fish the opens, and so I would say that was a big turning point for him.
Yeah.
If he hadn't done that, he probably would have never fished.
Yeah.
And then of course in 2007 he won the Forest Wood Cup, and that's
like epic.
Epic. Yeah. That was an epic moment. So that
Did you get to be there?
Yes.
It was, that's awesome.
Yeah. It feels like it was yesterday, honestly, but it was it was like a surreal moment. Like you kept asking yourself, did it
really happen? Like pinch me.
Did this really happen? And the stories, I could tell you a whole nother 3 hours of stories from that, but we might save that for the next
time. Well, I was about to say I'll bring you back on for sure. Did your girls come too though? They were there?
They were there. They were pretty young. Hallie was, she was born in 03 and he won in 07, so she would have been about 4. And then Whitney's 6.5 years older, so she remembers it more, just because she was 10 and a half, and so Hallie, she still claims she remembers it, but not like the older one.
Yeah.
Does,
so did he go elites, FLW, BPT?
Yes.
Okay.
And he did. He started with the Bassmasters, and then about 2 years later, he fished both Bassmaster and FLW.
Yeah, when they were able to share that schedule or whatever.
And then he ended up switching to just FLW, and so he started 2003 or 4. I'll lose track. I think it was 4 when the first tournament started, and then he won the cup in 7. So just 3 years into it, he won the FLW Cup. So that made his career.
Life. That's huge.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, that's insane. So is that your favorite moment of his career too?
Yeah, he's had some other moments, that were exciting, and but it's hard to top that.
Yes.
I mean, once he
reached the mountain.
Yeah. It's hard to say, you've really got to hit that again.
The Forest Wood Cup is like, I feel like it was, and I had no idea because I was not around when Matt was even able to qualify for that, but I heard it's kind of like the Classic and Red Crest mished, like it was just like so big.
Yeah, and it was very family. It was more family oriented than today, because they had this huge expo and it was all about things for kids. So they had big blow up slides. Every booth had something for kids to do.
Oh, that's
there was
fun.
Trout fishing ponds, and so it was kind of it was just different.
A family,
today the expo is fun. It's a lot of fishing things, but it's not as oriented to the kids.
Right, it's more fishing, enthusiast oriented.
Yes, and my kids loved it, and they collected every little thing like 4 times. Like they played Plinko, I can't tell you how many times. We got pictures of them with their trout, and so they loved it. It was a good time for them because they enjoyed it.
So that's your highlight too?
I would say yes.
I love it. Okay, so did you guys, or does he, campers, hotels, Airbnbs? What is?
Primarily Airbnbs.
Mm-hmm. Or VRBO.
Yeah. The first year, the year he won the cup was actually close to home. He stayed in a camper that 2 weeks in the campground. That's probably the only camping that he's really done. And when he started out, because we didn't know better, and back then you didn't have Airbnb, VRBO, you didn't have any of that.
It was like hotel or camper or like mom and pop.
Yeah, or somebody knew.
Yeah.
Somebody knew, to have some place a cabin or something. Yeah. So he stayed in more hotels, I would say, early on, but whenever he figured out, we kind of morphed to the time when there was now these Airbnbs and you could rent houses and things. That's the way he wanted to go, because then he could cook and not have to eat out all the time, and more space, right? And you don't have to take your stuff in
all
every
the time.
Offloading
and onloading and offloading.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And so does he stay with the same people every time?
For the most part.
Who do you guys room with?
He had stayed with Mark Rose for pretty much his whole BPT tour.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like this week, Mark and Tilly Davis are staying with us. We've also, Wesley Strader and his wife have stayed with us. So it's usually him and Mark are the consistent two. And then if we've got big enough houses and people need places to stay, then maybe there'll be somebody else that stays.
Cool. No, that's fun. So he does typically cook, like they cook?
Yeah, they cook. Even whenever, I think they probably, when the wives aren't along, eat out a little bit more. But when we're along, one of us or both of us, we almost always cook. Yeah. We don't eat out much. So.
And what's favorite meal? Like their favorite meal?
We're having a fish fry.
Oh.
Yeah, almost every time there's a fish fry. We have, I think Mark's brought crappie, so I think we're planning a fish fry.
Oh, everyone's bringing something in?
Yes.
That's fabulous.
So he brought crappie from home. So
nice.
When we were at Gunnersville last year, Mark brought some crappie too, I think, that time. So usually there's a fish fry, but there's usually some grilling that takes place, maybe a fish fry, and then outside of that, it's just whatever we can find to put together.
I love it. So what about tournament routines? And obviously, because you didn't travel, did you guys do something like on his tournament days or during practice or anything that you kept it consistent, like as a routine? Like I know some people that like they always have a call and a prayer, or like they, every time they catch a fish, they'll like shoot them a text, or like on the breaks, they do blah blah blah. Did you guys ever have any of those?
I don't think there's any routine.
Any like superstition stuff at all? And I hate that word, but it's like the only word that describes what I.
There was a time when I think Scott might not have changed clothes for 3 days because he thought they were lucky. And I'm like, you've got the same thing on. He's like, oh, I can't change it now. It's bringing me luck, right? So
no, you do not.
Probably some of that. Yeah, you can't change it because
no lucky underwear or socks or anything.
I don't know. I might not ask that. Yeah. But he routine-wise, he does probably always has his boat washed before he leaves for a tournament.
Oh, yeah.
There's
a clean boat catches more bass.
Yep, there's a guy that actually comes to you where we live. So he comes to our house, and before we left for here, he came and washed the boat and gets the boat all, because Scott wants his boat all nice and clean. Yes. And so that's probably his biggest routine. And, I always have said in my career, I'm only as good as how I feel. So, how if you're going to do a presentation or you need to dress nice and you need to do your hair and you'll feel more confident, and I think that's his confidence. He wants his boat cleaned, he wants all his tackle in order,
organized.
Yep. And that way he's fishing more confident.
Yeah. So I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Like if you question in your mind any of that, it's taking up space that shouldn't be.
That's
so
right.
I love that. And did you do any routine or like do anything consistent while you were in the office or anything?
No, probably not. My job's pretty routine anyway. Outside of my coffee every morning, I gotta have that. But and I'm pretty organized too. I like things to be semi-organized.
Yeah.
So, and it might get a little bit out of organized for a little bit, and then I just have to stop and get it off.
Yeah, and re-straighten it. I feel like a dirty house or like an unorganized space, I can tolerate it until something else goes awry, and when that goes awry, it like sets me off for all of this. Like I have to have this clean to figure out that, if that makes sense. Like,
well, when we travel, I want my house clean before we leave.
Yeah,
because I don't want to come home
to a mess.
Yes. And so I'm the maniac cleaner before we leave.
Like a procrastinator cleaner.
Oh, I'm like cleaning everything. I make sure all the laundry's done. I mean, even Scott will be out like, "Are you coming?" And I'm like, "I'm going to do this one more thing." And he's like, "Oh, And then I threaten my kids now that they're older, and my youngest still lives at home. I'm like, when I come home, this house better be as clean as I left it. And it can be cleaner. You can make me real happy. Yeah. But it better not be worse."
Yes. So. Yeah. No, I like it because I like coming in the door and knowing like the blankets are folded, pillows are where they're supposed to.
Everything's clean. There's not anything on the counter.
Because we're about to like dump. Like all of the luggage, all of our food bins, just everything. So
that's right.
I'm about to make a mess. I don't want it to be a mess coming in.
I do like to rent places that have a washer and dryer.
Yeah.
So that I try to keep everything washed up. So when we get ready to leave, we're pretty much clean clothes. Everything's ready. Just maybe what we have that day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it. That I actually was literally just telling somebody this, that I think next year I'm buying just like plain tees, jean wardrobe, and I'm putting it in a suitcase, and it's just gonna travel with me, and all my other stuff can stay at home. Yep, I don't have to unpack it. I'll wash it at the Airbnb, repack it, because it's getting to like unnaturally stressful, and it's not stressful. It's just annoying to have to unpack and repack. Because we're really only home for like 4 days, 2 days, 1 day.
Right.
We're not
home.
home.
Just leave it. And I mean, during fishing season, which is most part of the year,
yes.
right? I think Scott's whole wardrobe is hanging in the back of his truck.
Yeah.
Like half the time he's in the house, he has to go out to his truck to get a
his
shirt.
Clothes.
Yeah. He's like, "Where's my dress pants?" And I'm like, he's like, "I think they're in the truck." So he'll be out getting them because he's traveled so much. He just leaves it in there.
Yeah. So
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Just some like extra white tees or something. I got to do something
easier.
different. Yes, it's wild. So knowing what you know now, what are some of the things you wish you knew when you started the whole journey?
I do, just things about just the travel part, being more organized. I feel like I am now. I've learned that along the way. I feel like make better choices on where we stay. I'm just more, and some of it's technology.
Yeah.
I'm able to be more informed, but I'm the Google stalker. Like, I am like stalking where we're going, and I'm looking, even at hotels. It's funny. I'm like, okay, let me look for this hotel. Does it look, what's around this hotel? Does it look like it's safe? Is there a big parking lot? So I'm on Google Earth, like looking, and I'm like, oh, it's dirt. Must be new.
Yes.
Probably better. But I like to be able to know kind of what I'm getting us into.
Yeah. And before you get there.
Yeah, and I think technology has helped with that, and just some experience as well. But
because you do all of his booking prior to him leaving, right?
Oh yeah, I'm like a travel agent.
You do a lot of the behind the scenes.
Yes.
Even though you have a job of your own, and mom, and take it
and the boutique. I'm also and the boutique. And a grandchild.
Yes.
So my life is pretty busy. But for Scott, he just wants to fish.
Yes.
So he handles all his, obviously, tackle and all that kind of stuff, his boat stuff and all that. And he also deals primarily, he's the person that works with his sponsors.
Yeah.
I don't really do a lot of that other than make sure if there's contracts or things like that, we get all the paperwork stuff done. But other than that, he's, he handles that part of his business. But any of the accounting stuff, well,
that's you.
That's
me. Your bread and butter.
Yep. So I do all the.
Originally.
Yeah, I keep up with all that, and I do that for him. I do that now for my daughter, and her business. So yeah.
So this is completely out of left field, but when are you slowing down?
I always say next year. For the last 10 years. So I don't know. I would love for. We've always, both of us have said we want to be able to retire and still be able to enjoy life.
Yeah.
We see so many people that don't retire until they're in their upper late 60s, and then they have health things, and they don't get to really enjoy all the fruits of their efforts. And
right.
So we have always said by the time we get in our upper 50s, which we're close, early 60s, we want to retire and be able to, do the fun things we want to do. It's still going to include fishing.
Oh, yeah.
But it'll be where we want to fish, when we want to fish. And it'll probably, we both love to play golf.
Oh.
So we'll probably, I can't say I'm that great at it. I just don't have a lot of time. But if I had more time, I could.
Go explore some of those places.
We'll probably do
there's
that,
some
where
beautiful
go
places.
Play golf, go fishing, you know. So we want to be able to enjoy and do some of that. So hopefully in the next couple of years I can.
Well, if I see you again in 10 years and you guys are still fishing, I'll replay
You remind
I'll
me of this.
remind you.
Yes.
I got you covered.
When Scott won the Cup in 2007, a lot of people thought I would quit
Yeah.
work, and I was like, no. I've got a great career. I've got a really good job that's been flexible for me. Lets me take my kids to school, and so I want to be able to retire early and be able to enjoy almost the same life. I don't want to have to, So we've saved a lot.
Right.
And so that's why I've continued to work too, so that one day hopefully we can just really enjoy.
Yeah, check out in style.
Yeah. And I want to be there for my kids. My mom was there for me and helped a lot with my kids. So, I want to be able to do that for my kids too if they need me to. It's right now my daughter's kind of staying at home more, so she doesn't need that as much.
Yeah.
But you know, my other daughter with a business and things. Who knows someday?
Yeah,
so.
and they will.
They will.
They will.
Yeah, they will.
You'll be Kimmy G.
Kimmy G.
Kimmy G.
Kimmy
or
G.
Lolly or something. Something. Okay, so favorite thing about tournament fishing world, meaning like just this whole side of it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The travel, or is it like anything different? I know we kind of talked about like favorite part of loving him and being part of it, but is it the same with this world, or did it come with some surprising things that you're happy?
It's, you know, honestly, it's probably some of the competition.
Yeah.
Just because I'm very competitive. But I'm competitive through Scott.
Yeah.
Right?
And yeah.
And as you know, there's some really highs, and then there's some really lows.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not fun when it's a low.
Right.
But when it's great, it's fantastic.
Well, it makes the lows like worth it.
It does. So and I mean, if everything in life was a high,
yeah,
it wouldn't be fun.
Right.
Right? So you've got to have some lows and some highs. And so, you know, I think the competition and just the competitiveness of it,
yeah.
And you know, I kind of lived that a little bit through him. But even in my own career, one of my great employees and I, we always talk about how competitive we are.
Yeah.
And we're competitive because, you know, we want to be the best at what we do at work.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's the competition in it, is like, I'm not going to be happy until I feel like I've done the best.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm always I'm the coach. Let me tell you.
The pusher.
I'm the halftime coach.
Yes.
You know,
drop it down. Get your head focused.
Right.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. Don't just get locked in on one thing.
Yeah.
You need to be changed. And so, you know, I'm the halftime coach.
I love it
too. So.
Hey, you need it.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that you're also competitive. I am too, but obviously like through Matt. But, you know, I think it drives everything that is good.
Yeah,
I mean,
does.
if you get complacent, you know, it's just like, what is that as far as in life? Like,
that's right. I'm just, whatever it is, I'm a little bit competitive in my mind even.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, I need to win. I don't know this. I need to win. It's
No.
just I need to be I want to be the best.
I need to do this better,
I
could do this better.
I could do this better, and that's what pushes me to do the next thing and to do it the best that I can.
Yeah. So. No, I love it. Okay, what do you think the biggest misconception about the lifestyle of the sport is?
That it's all roses and rainbows. It's not, you know. And in my job, I work with a lot of guys, and they're always like, "We want Scott's job."
Yeah.
Like, it's not all fun.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
You know, there's a lot. It's stressful.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to fish 4 or 5 days 6 days in a row.
Yeah.
It's just hard, daylight to dark, and you
no
know,
sick time.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's no sick time.
Yeah.
If there's a tournament, I don't care how you feel.
Yeah.
You can't put it off till tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if it's raining or it's freezing cold or the wind is blowing 25 miles an hour, those are not desirable conditions to go fishing in, but you really don't have a choice.
Yeah, much less be outside, but then also do an activity to the highest extent.
Absolutely. And
Like,
there's
no.
so many
Hard
times when I'm like, I'm inside by the fire, and there's no way I want to be out in that.
No, like I don't even want to walk to my car.
But you know what surprises me is most of the fishermen don't complain about it.
No,
you know,
they don't even think about it.
It could be so cold, and that's when Scott wants to go fishing. Oh, they bite better.
Yeah.
I'm like, not for you, not for me.
Yes.
I'm out on that.
Fair weather. I'm fair weather.
Yes. If it's raining, I need to be about 80 degrees, maybe 75 degrees, and I can take some clouds or sun, but I don't need 45 in rain is about the most miserable time.
It's really no good. And then
It's
all
no
the
good.
chop on the water, and you're just like begging to get home. Yeah.
No.
Hard pass.
Hard. Yeah. We fished a couples tournament one time, and it was raining all day. It was about 45 degrees. I'm pretty sure I shed a few tears during that. And then when we got in, I find out all the women had been at the marina drinking coffee all day, and I was about the only one that endured it. I'm like,
you could have told me.
Yeah. Why didn't I?
I know. I didn't get the invite.
I would have been happy to have been back.
Yeah.
I would have been a quitter at that point. Like, you go out and catch some more. Because it was not fun. So I do admire all these guys that get out there. It is. Yeah. I've been in some of those conditions, and it is not fun.
No, and I think it is. It's like such a different mindset than like we're just going fishing. So from the outside you're like, oh, his job, he gets the fish. It's like, it's so much more.
It is so much more. And it's a lot, the expo days when you're on your feet.
Yes.
And you're standing and you're talking and, it's just standing all day long.
Yeah.
And even on the front of a boat, you're standing all day long and the boat's going, in the waves. It's hard on your body. Or driving that boat 70 miles an hour and hitting those waves.
Yeah.
So it is, but don't get me wrong. If you ask Scott what's he want to do tomorrow on his day off, it's go fishing.
Oh, yeah.
So he still loves it. And I always say, if you can make a living doing what you love to do, and what you do if you decided to go on vacation, what would you say you wanted to do? Because I'm probably not picking my job while I'm on vacation.
Right.
I want to get away from mine. And he's happy to continue going fishing.
I know Matt always says, like, thinking, in the future or whatever, like, would he ever want to retire? And he's like, what am I going to do when I retire? Fish every day. He's like, why not compete? If I'm still able to compete, why wouldn't I be competing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you're right.
I think your mindset changes, though, as you get a little older, because we're older, and so, you start to have other things in your life.
Yeah.
Grandkids. Yeah. Places at the lake and things that you're not getting to spend as much time with. So you do start thinking more about retirement and not doing this full time. And
I think this is it is an extremely stressful way to live long term. Like it's high, they're pent up all the time. Yeah. So I think, like you said, when we get there and when he gets there, it will be he'll want to do local stuff, but I think that brain at this all the time or really this, it just, I don't know.
Over time it starts to,
it's got to wear.
It wears on you.
Yeah.
And I think that's with any career.
Oh, yeah.
Any career. People don't think the same when they start the career as they do 30 years later.
Yeah, which is important. I mean, you're supposed to evolve,
right?
You're
supposed to evolve.
Yeah.
And you do. You just evolve in life.
So, it's good. Okay, I wanted to ask, do you watch live the whole time, partially, at all, never?
I would say partially. Just depends on how well Scott's doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get frustrated and just turn it off. Yeah. Sometimes I'm just at work and I don't have a choice, and I'll try to check it, If Scott has a camera, I'm probably trying to watch more than not. So I'm a partial,
Are you like a score tracker?
Religious? Yeah, I'm constantly looking at that, and I stress myself out.
Yeah,
there are times when I'm like, I'm done. I am not going to look at this for the next hour.
Do you do it?
No. Yeah. And 5 minutes later, I'm looking again, and I'm like, I said I wasn't going to look at this for the next hour. But I'll look. Yeah. I'll look. I can't. The curiosity kills me.
It's so funny to me. I ask this question to pretty much everyone. And everyone is back and forth on the live because it depends how it's going. But score tracker, it's religious, and they all try to put it down.
You can't.
And then you pick it back up.
You
No, you can't. You can't. I know.
You've got to keep looking. And I'm like, I've looked at this thing 90 times, and
my screen time is like, you have hit your max, because I time it out at the end of the days or whatever.
You can't put it. You can tell. I try to tell myself I am not looking at it, and I swear in 5 minutes I'm back looking.
The only way that I put myself in the shower. Like, I'll take a shower because I can't obviously look at it at that point.
And then I'll say, in 30 minutes, surely he's caught, this, and I'll look. And sometimes he has, He, one time I was like, just so frustrated. He had not caught anything, and I think he was at Okeechobee or somewhere. And I was like, I'm just going to take a nap. It was Sunday afternoon, I'm going to just take a nap. And so, when I woke up from my nap, I'm like, okay, I'm going to look at this. And he was like in 5th or something. It was the best way to
You're like, I'm sleeping forever.
Yes, it was great. Yeah.
I love that. I know. I've done that a couple times where I'm like, I just can't. And something will have happened and I'll have gotten a text message. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have been looking. I knew it was going to happen at this point.
Or somebody texts me like, yeah, he called me. And I'm like, what? I haven't even looked.
I know. I'm like, I was trying to take a break.
Yeah. Always when you take a break.
Yes. So I wanted to ask this because I didn't really know how, you figured it all out. And a previous guest had asked if you could meet a current wife or girlfriend that you haven't met yet, or get to know them better, who would it be? Mm-hmm. But I also want to ask, was there a wife or girlfriend that you met at the very beginning that helped you or gave you like a good piece of advice on like how to navigate this?
Honestly, probably not. You know,
yeah,
because I didn't travel a lot.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't get to know a lot of the wives and girlfriends. So, you know, I had a small, I would say, circle of people that I knew. I would say Scott probably more than I did. Got advice from some of the different guys that have been doing it for a while. But for me, I really don't have someone.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't travel a lot in the beginning and didn't really know a lot of people.
Yeah. And it was probably hard to like figure out even.
It would have been helpful.
Yeah.
It would have been helpful had I, you know, known more. And also, again, 20 years ago, you didn't have Facebook.
Yeah.
You didn't have the
ways
social media
to connect.
Exactly. And I think that's been really nice. And being able to connect and, you know, get to know people and that kind of thing. So it's evolved.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of changes.
Yeah. The social comes with, it's good with the bad, because there's like tons of bad, but then things like that is so good,
right?
Because you can see their whole family, you can you know, find connections that you might not have ever found,
and you know what they're doing, and you know where they're at in life, or even with their kids.
You can keep up without having to like overextend to see them.
You don't have to call somebody.
Yeah.
Like back when we first started, the only way I would have known is see them on while I'm there, and I didn't go a lot, or call somebody up. And I just didn't have, you know, you don't
have the time or the number.
You know, and so there was, it just didn't have the same opportunity to connect that there is today.
Yeah. Is there a wife or girlfriend that you haven't met yet that you think you would connect with if you met, or like that you would want to like get to know better? And I know it's a loaded question. Like Christina Burge was like, everyone really that I haven't met, which is probably honest.
Yes. I mean, I would agree. You know, there's lots that I haven't met out there. And I even mentioned Robin Howe.
Yeah.
I've really not met her. I have friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
I follow Randy. And so I always see them post and I always think, you know, we probably have, you know,
would probably
some in common because we
fish.
She fishes a lot. And, and Lindsay Blaylock and I were really good friends when her husband and Scott fish the same circuit. Now they don't.
Yeah.
And we're still good friends, but not in the fishing,
on
the fishing tournament side. So we would travel some. They used to fish the same circuit, so when they were fishing FLW, we would travel together a lot.
Yeah.
And so I knew her, but she was younger, a lot younger than me, and so
even getting to know them.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. You know, I think you and Robin would probably hit it off. I haven't fully met her yet either. Actually, I don't even know. Maybe I met her once. I'm obviously hoping to meet her eventually, as every wife hope to meet everyone eventually, which is again why I want to do this. But I always wonder, because I do think that there's so many connections and almost like misconnections that could have happened, because really if you don't travel, or if you travel at different times, or if you're doing partial traveling, like, you know, you just kind of miss.
Well, I think a lot of those that traveled full-time
before,
they traveled usually in an RV or a camping trailer, and they stayed a lot of times in the same area. So they got to know each other a lot, where we never camped and that wasn't our choice to stay, because we always had houses.
That's more of a glamper, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So the camping life is probably not for him.
It's not really. No.
I actually didn't really know that about him until the team series, because you know they were on together. They were on the same team, and I like kind of clued in when we were out in Tulsa, and I was like, I think he's like you, babe. Like, I think he's like a glamper.
He like, has to have a shower every morning. Like, he can't function. And he can't even understand if I don't take a shower every single morning, how I can function. And I'm like, well, it's not like I don't take a shower.
Yeah,
it's
like,
just,
I'm
it might
clean.
not be right when I he gets straight out of bed and goes to take a shower every day. And he cannot function if he doesn't. So trust me, camping is not really his kind of thing.
Cup of tea.
No. And heaven forbid you try to put him in a tent. That's not working. No.
I love that. So, yeah, misconnections there because of totally different staying styles.
Yes.
That's awesome. So, Tilly asked this question actually when I was interviewing her, but I've asked a couple people because I really like it. So, knowing what you know now of the industry, and having been here, would you choose this life all over again?
I mean, it's worked well for us.
Yeah.
And it's not, I would probably say yes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's, again, we've traveled to so many places. We're outdoor people, and so we've gotten to, you know, see places. And we talk about when we retire, I want to go. I've never been on St. Clair. We want to go, you know.
You would love it.
He loved especially Minnesota when we were up there. And he's like, we should go and spend a couple weeks and just travel and go to the different lakes up there.
Yeah.
And so I didn't go on any of the lakes in Minnesota. I went to Minnesota. I just didn't get the opportunity to go. I was working. And so, but he had the best time. And so those are things that, Michigan is another area that we've loved traveling to. I think I went out with him a couple of times in Michigan, but not on St. Clair. I've been to some of the smaller lakes. He did a thing, but we really love the state. Just that, you know, in the summertime, because we're from Arkansas. It's 110 degrees in the summer.
Hot.
It's bad
it's
hot.
Very hot.
And so in the summer,
I didn't realize because y'all are like mid-U.S. So I was not thinking it was so hot.
Oh, it's bad. Like July and August in Arkansas, you don't want to do anything outside. I mean,
no, it's like Florida, but like you're not in
it's
Florida,
humid.
And you don't have the ocean.
No, it's humid, and so that's why there's a lot of night fishing.
Yeah,
a lot of night fishing tournaments and just general night fishing because it's too hot to fish during the day. But you can go to Michigan or you can go to Minnesota or I love upstate New York. All that is so pretty. And it's so much cooler.
Are you going to Thousand Islands?
I am.
Have you been there?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Love it.
The last time they went, I went, and it was great.
Yeah.
I like
anything.
anything.
You stayed in Clayton? Or did
we
you
stay in
Messina?
Messina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
did you go down to Clayton?
We drove down one day. We stayed out in the country, so we weren't right in Messina. The house that I have us booked for this year is like 6 miles outside of Messina.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But I like anything in New York. I love the Finger Lakes there. I didn't even know that place existed till we went there. And
and they're full of wine too. They have wineries everywhere.
I even did a girls trip back to the Finger Lakes after I went there. I'm like,
It's
y'all got to go.
Yeah.
I've discovered a new part of the country I didn't even know it was there.
Yeah,
and we had a great time too. It's an amazing place. So again, we've gotten to go to so many places that we just wouldn't have gone to, and I probably would have never even known about. And there's, for every place I've been, I know there's, you know,
a million more. There's so many. There's so many. So, from your perspective, what do you think makes a successful angler? And that's the first time I've said it right the first time on this podcast after 20 episodes.
A successful angler, obviously, you're not going to win every tournament. So, you can't say, oh, somebody wins a tournament. It's not. It's really, if you're doing what you love and you can make a living at it and you are, you know, doing what you can for the sport, right? Because in just the environment, to me, that it's lost in a lot. You know, there's not a lot of people that go fishing as much anymore. They're outdoor. Most people are inside and you know, they just don't know what they're missing. I say that all the time. If they ever went to some of these places, they'd be like, man, I'd rather do that than... don't get me wrong. I love going to big cities. Yeah. I like going to Chicago. I like going to New York City. But I also love going to the Finger Lakes. Yeah. I love going to the upper part of Michigan. And if you gave me a choice, that's what I'm going to pick. Yeah. It's more laid back. It's not as stressful. It's, you know, and so to me, that successful angler is just doing what he loves. And he's successful enough at it that he's got good sponsors, and he's really been true to his sponsors. That's really important, you know, and your sponsors like you. Yeah. You know, and you do, that's why they're sponsoring you, because you're helping them too. And so really, you know, being an advocate for the sport, and then hopefully you're going to win a few tournaments along the way. You know, that's, everybody wants to win, don't get me wrong, but you're not going to win every tournament. You just can't. But there's plenty of successful, you know, fishermen out there that maybe never have won a tournament. And I would say, you know, Scott's highlight was winning the cup, but had he not won it, he would have still been a successful fisherman. Especially if you're fishing at this level, it's hard to compete at this level. So you're fishing against the best fishermen out there a lot of times. And so it's hard to win, but you can absolutely be successful without winning.
Agreed. And I definitely think growing with your sponsors is huge. Like what you just said with being an advocate for the sport, but also for your sponsors, because they like took the bet on you. They took the bet.
Yeah, and they're what allow us to do this. Yeah. So you definitely have to, meet those obligations and exceed them. Yeah. Again, I mean, don't ever stop with the bare minimum of anything. That's, I always say, you got to go above and beyond. If you want to be successful and you want, to, in whatever your career is, mine, fishing, I don't care what it is. Yeah. You got to go above and beyond. Don't just be status
do
quo.
What you think the expectations are.
Right. Always strive to exceed them. Yeah.
So, last question, we're going to wrap up with some quick hits. What are you most proud that you, and this is Brent because I had Bobby's questions in here, but you and Scott have accomplished together? What are you most proud of? And it can be fishing or non-fishing related.
I think most proud of just our family. We've been married along 33 years now. I think we had great examples in our family, and hopefully we've set good examples for our kids. And we've got 2 daughters that are, they're great and they're independent. So I feel like I've passed on my
success.
Yes, that
I love that.
They can go out, and I've sent them on a way that they can be successful too. So.
Yeah. No, good. I think it's a huge accomplishment. I love that aspect of hearing like parents talk about their kids, like be very, very excited of like the humans that they really created, I love that. I think that that's great. I'm glad you're proud of them, which
very proud of them.
Obviously, you would think everyone should be, but I'm glad that you are. Okay, so wrapping up with some quick hits. What is your PB bass, and where did you catch it?
Okay, so I caught a 9.5-pound bass.
Did you? Largemouth?
Largemouth in a night tournament on Lake Washita.
In a tournament?
And I was the most proud person you've ever seen. I couldn't even fish the rest of the night. Scott kept saying, quit looking in the live well.
You kept peeking at it?
Yeah. I kept looking there. I'm like, it's the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Was he so sad that you got it first?
Oh, no, he's very excited. He's like, he's one that he wants me to catch
the biggest.
Yes. And I had not caught anything like for the first 3 hours of this tournament, and I was kind of bummed because he had caught quite a few, and I'm like, I haven't caught anything, and then I get this fish on, and it was after dark, so you can't see just great, and I am fighting it, but it didn't feel that big. I mean, it felt good. I said, it's a good one. I probably need the net, but I'm not thinking that big.
Get the big net.
I get the big one. When I saw it, I was like, oh. And he missed it with the net. Oh. And he's like, get it back out here. I'm like, oh, don't you miss my fish. And
do not stab the line.
Yes, I was pretty proud of that.
That is awesome. Yeah, that is huge.
Yeah. It was big, but it's by far the biggest thing I've ever caught. Yeah, and it's been a long time ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, you need another one.
Yeah,
you need a 10.
Yeah, I keep saying we need to go to one of these big fish lakes so I can catch one bigger. Yeah.
So go to show or movie or book, because I like to read too.
Oh, go to show. We end up watching a lot of these like reality shows. Like,
do you?
But yes, so. We watch American Idol. Yeah. So we watch all the episodes of American Idol, and it just wrapped up. So now we got to wait for another one. We watch a lot of like the is it the swamp people with alligators? Yes. So we watch that. So we tend to watch those more reality type shows.
I love it. And can you back a boat? You kind of answered before.
Yeah,
did you teach yourself?
I was taught by force. I will say this.
Okay.
And taught by force. Yes, it was like go back the boat.
Go do it. Yes.
Go do it. I'm sure it was like.
Why do they always do that? He's like, here, go get it.
Yes, go get it. And the first time he told me to go get it, it was awful. It was awful. I had to let somebody else do it. I could not get the boat back down, and I was so mad. I was like, oh, I'm surprised we even made it 33 years. But because he made me go get it, and it was a little bitty boat ramp. It was dark, and there was some tournament taken out, and I was too much pressure. And so finally some, guy that had mercy on me, he's like, do you want me to back it? And I'm like,
Yes.
And so
I don't want you to, but yes, would you?
After that, I'm like, oh, I'm learning this.
Yes.
That won't happen.
One
One time. That won't happen again. And so now I'm pretty good at backing a boat. Yeah. Not as good as Scott by any means. He's very good at backing a boat, but I can get it there.
Yeah. You know you're comfortable with it at least. So if you were playing Uno in a group and you had a draw 4 card, would you play it on Scott or would you wait for the reverse and play it on somebody else?
Oh, 100% on Scott. He's getting it.
He's getting
it. Yeah. And
whether he needs it or not.
And then he would be mad. He'd be like,
is he bad at games?
Oh, yeah, because he doesn't like to lose. He don't want to lose. He's not good. I just don't play games with him. Because I don't want to lose either. So we're going to be pretty competitive on that.
That's awesome. Y'all should definitely play like Battleship.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing before you leave. Like I said, I ask every guest this, and I'm actually taking it from another podcast, but I love that they do it. What is a question that you have for our next guest without knowing who it is? And it can be anything. Like I've gotten, what's your favorite color?
I'd say where have you gone as part of the world of fishing that, kind of like me, I fell in love with the Finger Lakes area that I didn't even know existed. Where is your favorite place? Like, where would you go back to?
Yeah.
That's
a good question.
Yeah. If you can pick a place and you said, I could go there tomorrow, where would it be?
And yours would be the Finger Lakes?
It would be the Finger Lakes.
Yeah. I really liked it up there as well.
It was really pretty.
It was so gorgeous. Yeah. And, I mean, I love wine. So, like, their growing region is very similar to German growing region. And so they could do, like, Gewürztraminer type wine. And it was really cool. It was just delicious.
I just loved all the little venues. Yeah. All the places.
Little restaurants.
All the restaurants. The kind of the ruralness of it too. So, but you could just stop at all the different places. Everything is very unique. It's all its own little thing. Yeah. There's that one little town. I don't know if you went to Skinny Atlas. Did you go?
Oh, no. Oh, wait, did I?
It's straight out of the Hallmark movies, I swear.
Oh, no,
it's like a little town that looks just like something you'd see in a Hallmark movie. It's one of the lakes, but it's a smaller one all the way.
Yeah, is it all the way up or is it down?
No, it's over toward
the O1.
What's the closest city there? Syracuse.
Oh, okay.
It's between
I think we were
Cayuga
gonna go
and Syracuse.
Okay, I think we were gonna go one day. I can't remember. I mean, I feel like I would remember it if we did. I don't think we did because I think we went the other way. I think we went to Seneca.
Yeah, so you've got you got your fingers. I always say it's like your fingers, right? It's probably this one, the farthest.
Yeah, I think that's the O one, but I can't say it.
It's Skinny Atlas is the name of the lake.
Ah.
Yeah. It's pretty neat. That town is pretty neat. The main part of the town is right at the top of the lake, and so you can see the lake out behind it. But it's kind of like downtown here, with the lake behind it. But it's I don't know. It really looks like it's straight out of the Hallmark movie.
I'll need to add that to the list.
It's neat.
We need to go through because we're headed back up there. Yeah. So that is our show this week. Thank you for being here and being a guest.
Thank
you
guys.
Me. Yes. And thank you for having me in your kitchen this time. But if people want to follow y'all's fishing journey, where can they find y'all?
Sure. Scott Sucks Fishing. Facebook, Instagram, all the places. Yep, just Google that or Yep, you can find us at Scott Sucks Fishing.
And your daughter's boutique one more time.
Hallie and Company.
I love that she's doing that. Yeah. So you guys know I love these women. I love the women behind Professional Bass Fishing. I love professional bass fishing in general, but I love this side. They do so much and you guys don't get to see it. So I'm glad I get to bring it. Every week for the rest of this year, I'm trying to do one episode a week. So normally it's Thursdays unless I get a little bit overwhelmed, and then it's on Friday. But follow the Instagram account at Random Kitchens Podcast, and I kind of keep it updated, or I definitely keep it updated on what's going to be coming for that week. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.